Back in 2021, I became slightly obsessed with a little indie game called Fear and Hunger. It grabbed my mind and got me thinking about design. It was also CBT of the highest order made by a sadomasochist, which is unsurprising as he is Finnish. So I wrote Fear and Hunger Forgotten Chronicles, a OSR-adjacent RPG about going into a dark hole in the ground and watching as your entire life goes wrong because of it. It was an odd experience. Wrote some good ideas, wrote a lot of bad ideas, but also made the void method of dungeon creation. Ulmer blessed the randomization. But with Fear and Hunger's sequel, Termina, coming out, I shelved it for the Redux until later. Lo and behold, I began working on it again not too long ago. At its absolute basic, it's a D20 plus modifier system. Nothing too exciting on that front. One of the more unique premises being momentum and fumbling from the Notepad D20 system. Effectively, if you roll a 20, you have momentum, and every subsequent roll you can pay up a little bit to continue that roll. If you have a roll of 1, get ready to get your shit kicked in a little bit. The tormented form the heart of the game, though. These are you, not dashing heroes or swarthy rogues. You're people. Sad, miserable, and usually very desperate people thrust into an exceptionally dangerous place with little hope of survival. Each of the tormented have fear and hope. Fear is your core attributes, as fear keeps you pressing forward no matter the cost, while hope is your saves, as for the tormented, being forced to roll under them in different situations. Hope keeping you alive in here after all, no matter how fleeting it is. Then we move on to skills. Generally, I want to keep them pretty open-ended, with histories being a little bit of write-in, but training having fairly strict requirements of A to B to C to D. You may be a war reporter, but that doesn't mean you're adept at wearing plate mail. But magic is a little bit different, as magic eats at your soul, so learning first, second, or third, or worse, circle magicianry is a little bit odd, and you're also probably going to go insane doing it. From here, you choose an archetype from one of the 10 possible options, each one with around 9 sub-options to choose from. If we want, for example, a veteran infantryman with the shakes, it would look like this. Not exactly perfect human beings by any stretch of the imagination. But you don't want all of this fancy schmancy shit. You want combat. One of the most impactful parts of Fear and Hunger is the rather graphic battles that take place. I tried to replicate it with a limb-based system, getting hit as body parts get hurt, lowering your overall health as well. Getting your skull caved in or bleeding out from a dozen small injuries all lead to the same gruesome outcome. During battle, you'll be trying to hit a character's survival rating, which being 20 sounds really hard, but every piece of armor, equipment, and stuff you wear is lowering that. And when one bad hit can lop an arm off, you'll need everything you can get. I use Sword World's method of battle maps actually, skirmishing with one another before closing the distance in a man-to-man melee. That also means that there's no real backline or front line. There's just this chaotic swinging nightmare until someone probably dies. Frantic describes initiative as well, taking the option of going frantic, dedicated, using the weight of your armor to determine your actual position in that order. Rev points, fuck you Miro by the way for that name, is a resource you build every round to do more and more impressive feats. Raking attack, seizing the moment, or just running away successfully all burn these points. The longer you're in, the more you get, but less likely you are to make it out. The true killer is the mind, a slow and insidious killer that preys on your fears and horrors. You'll slowly chip away at your sanity until you're nothing more than a gibbering mess and much, much worse. Oh, and don't forget to eat while you're in here. What, did you think that Fear and Hunger was just ooky spooky skeletons? No, you're gonna be starving to death pretty fucking quickly, and every step you take is a little bit more of your life getting burnt away as you struggle to get out. Because that's the secret of Fear and Hunger. It isn't the combat, it's sanity, it's magic, or anything else. It's attrition. Every action burns something. Every battle is a risk. Every hit soaked by your armor is armor you don't have anymore. Every injury is medical attention. Every single thing has an equal and opposite reaction. Even getting stronger requires you to cut your palm at the altar of one of the gods of the dungeon, those mad creators who demand something from you, building favor by performing their profane tasks and asking for salvation at the worst moments. All while the dungeon shifts and changes around you, the void doesn't even know what's on every floor. Adding in a few remaining aspects like guns from Termina, and Fear and Hunger, Solus, and Somnium turned out to be pretty solid. Of course, the Fear and Hunger Morkborg clone exists, but what can you do about it? Links are down below as always. My name is Notepad and this was Fear and Hunger, Solus, and Somnium. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the Dark Priest for their continued patronage for my dark descent into the nightmares of the dungeon. May Ulmer protect you all.